Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter board game review. Today's game up on the tabletop is a firefighting game called The Brigade. The Brigade is made by Red Genie Games. It is for 2 to 4 players, 30 to 45 minutes, and for ages 8 and up. In this game, you're basically playing as a fantasy faction of like dwarves and elementals and such to try and stop a town from burning down. And unfortunately right now you've got the university and all the wizards are in the university and they're just causing havoc. Think of like Hogwarts gone mad and they're burning everything up, not on purpose, but just things are catching on fire. And your job as the brigade, or one of the brigades, is to go around the town and put the fires out. Now you also have a little bit of competition, so you have maybe 2 to 3 other players against you. They're also trying to put fires out or claim that they put fires out on your stuff and so on and so forth. And the objective of the game is to stop a certain amount of fires based on a certain amount of tiles or stopping the university from blowing up. There's tons of different ways you can win the game. But anyway, let me go ahead and show you the game and let's see what you think. Alright guys, so this is the setup for the game, The Brigade. Now in the game you can play up to 4 players and each player has a character card or like the main fire leader card. They have their action card as well as their basic wagon and other stuff that they have, like the crew members, water wagon capacity, and leadership values for all of their crew stuff, including how much water they have in their wagons. So everybody's going to get these cards as well as these little tokens here that represent if they've claimed any areas, and as well as these other tokens here that represent if they've actually been able to remove fires from locations, which afterwards, at a certain point, you'll be able to collect these and put the claim on. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Over here are additional crew members you can get throughout the game. Quite a few of them here. As well as over here we have the fire tokens and the water tokens, which will be going everywhere on the board. These are event cards that will hold events and when fires break out, as well as these starting tiles, which we'll explain a little bit later as well. And then you're going to have your entire board set up, which is just randomly allocating all these different locations, putting the university in the middle here, and each player is going to get their color in one of the corners. And they have, you have white, black, orange, and pink. And then you're going to get your wagon and basically your entire crew here that you start there. The last thing you need to do is go ahead and put 2 fire counters on the university space. Now there's a fire track here, if you see. It goes from 1 all the way up here to what looks like to be like 7 or 8. When you put 2 tokens on here, instead of putting 2 tokens, you simply move it up the track to the number 2. Makes it a lot easier like that. And it will simply go up the track more as fire accumulates. But that's the idea of how to set up the game. This is what it includes. A nice setup and a beautiful looking game. Let me talk to you about how the game's turn sequences go. Okay, so the board is basically set up with the only fire on the board being on the university with 2 ticks per space per location on the university. The next thing we do is called the starting turn. And the starting turn is kind of interesting because you're going to fill the board up with fire using these starting events. Now there's 6 of them total, so you shuffle them up. And then you select 3 of them at random, put the others to the side, and flip over 1 at a time with the symbology of the north-facing symbol up north, and placing all the different fires on the different tiles indicated on the board. Once you've done that, you do the next one, and then you do the next one, and finally, you will take all the rest of them that you didn't use and shuffle them back into the events deck for further use. Afterwards, then you're going to have the first player take their turn, and that's based on the last person who put out a fire, or started a fire, or set your cat's hair on fire, whatever, right? And each player is going to have 4 actions on their turn, and there's quite a few actions. I'll go ahead and list them out before we explain the first turn. Moving your brigade, moving your wagon, extinguishing fire, refilling your wagon, refilling everybody, I should say, recruiting new people to your brigade, your crew action, so certain cards on your crew is going to have actions you can do, transferring water from one place to another, as well as upgrading your score sheet, or your sheet here, which has your crew members or your wagon capacity, as well as your leadership, which is the amount of actions you can take on your turn. So other than that, those are the basic actions of the game, and then the first turn begins, which is simply the same thing as the original starting turn, but you draw 1 of these actions instead, which could be more fire or a couple different other actions. Alright, let me show you the starting turn as well as the secondary turn. Alright guys, so let's start off with the starting turn of the game. Right here I've got our 3 starting events that are going to happen. We'll just go ahead and flip over 1 at a time and assign them. So here we go, with the north facing north. This is over here south, and obviously the other ends. Now we're going to go ahead and look at all the fire symbols and place the fire markers on any space from left to right. So there's nothing on this side, And as you can see, these spaces over here will never get targeted by fire. So over here is 1, so we'll go ahead and put on the little 1 track there. And then over here in the middle is 2, so this will go up 1, and this will go up 1. And then here at the very far end, not here, but here, will be another one. Good job. Moving on to the next one. All right, from left to right once again. Here is one. And then these 2 spaces in the middle, so the university spaces get filled up a lot pretty quickly. And then right next to it, right there. And then our last one, ooh, this has got a lot of fire here. We got one here, and here, and here, and here, as well as here, here, and here. After that, we've finished all the fires for the starting turn, and now the starting player is going to go ahead and take their starting action. So white will be our starting player, and we're going to use these renowned right here as just actions. You're going to actually have real action tokens for the game when it comes on Kickstarter, but we'll just use these for now. Now, moving a brigade is pretty simple. If you wanted to, you could do that and move it up to 3 spaces. Now, if you move it onto a fire space, you have to stop, but you can move it diagonally, left, up, down, left to right. So I can go 1, 2, and 3 if I wanted. I just couldn't go 1 and 2. I have to stop here. So we're going to go and decide what's on fire and how to stop us. We're going to go 1 and 2, 3. Okay, we'll go there. That's our first action. Now we can move our wagon too. We can move our wagon anywhere we want on the board, provided it doesn't... it's like kind of like a teleport device, but you just can't put on somebody else's space or wherever they're on the board. It has to be on your own spaces. So we'll just move the wagon there. And then we'll do an extinguishing of fire. Now you can use fire from your wagon, provided your wagon is with you on your brigade, or you can use your brigade's water. Now your brigade's water is listed on the spaces provided by all your followers and yourself. And then the wagon's numbers are listed here on the right-hand side of your wagon. So we'll go ahead, and there's only 1 fire here, so we'll just use our wagon and remove 1 and put it away. And then this thing goes away, and we get to put a renowned on. Now, if you can see it down here, bottom right-hand side, there is a 3, which means if you ever have 3 tokens on here, 3 renowned tokens, you would have secured this location, remove all the renowned and all of your opponent's renowned off, and place your own loyalty token. And a loyalty token is what you need to secure victory. You need a certain amount to secure victory. The victory is indicated by getting at least 3 of these guys here, or getting a certain amount of these, or a certain amount of all the different types. I'll explain more about that later. All right, so we have 1 final action left, and I will go ahead and move down to the upgrade action. I'll talk about the other ones in a bit. Upgrade's cool, but you can only use it once. All the rest of these guys you can use as many times as you would like. Upgrade lets you move any of your crew leadership or crew members leadership or water wagon capacity by 1. So I'm going to move my crew members up by 1, so that next turn I can actually go ahead and recruit a crew member. So I've done all my actions, and now I'm going to begin the second turn. Okay, so now we're going to the second turn of the game, and the second turn is similar to the starting turn, except instead of these starting locations here, we're going to be drawing one from the action deck and just simply flipping it over. Now, as you can see, the action deck here has a bunch of different actions involving putting the fire down, so all these just ones randomly putting fire, and it also has ones that involve putting down, each player gets more funds, upgrade the crew slot once, too hot in here, all players lose all their water, a wind blows east, and a wind blows north. So a wind blowing is pretty simple. You'll go from, if it's wind blowing north, you go from the bottom and up, and the wind is going to move north, moving these pieces up. So if there was no fire here, it would go up to here based on the wind. And if it's here, there's no fire here, it would go up. Also, if there was a fire here and here, like you can see, the wind would move up. This thing can actually just move to the side, and this thing would catch on fire as well. So all the fire spreads forward. That's the basic idea for the wind. And the wind goes left and right and up and down as well. And just based on how it's moving is how you're going to be putting additional fires on the board. But if you get something like this, you just follow the same as the starting. So we'll go ahead and put some more fire down. 1 goes here. These 2 go up. And then we've got these 2 over here. More fire. All done. This place is catching on fire real quickly. So now we'll take on next actions. We'll go ahead and use this guy right here and his renowned, and we'll place the one to start upgrading, and we'll upgrade the crew members as well. Like I said, you could do leadership as well, or the water capacity. If you go up to 3, you can actually add another water here when you refill. But we'll just do crew members. And then we're going to recruit a crew member, and we flip over one, and we just get it, we add it to our team. I'll just put it here so you can see. This guy actually starts, every guy starts with water included on their card, so that's an extra 2 water for you, as well as an ability, or potential ability. This one says spend 2 water, and you can move your crew anywhere on the board. So you'd remove these off, and you could move your crew members anywhere on the board that you wanted. Now, obviously, it follows the same rules applied as placement. The last thing you can do is like the crew action. That would be the action of the crew member. And the last thing you do is transfer. And transfer is when you can transfer water from the wagon to something else. So maybe you have a crew member here with water, and you want to use his water and make him move. Provide the wagon, maybe the wagon's here. You wanted to use the crew member's water to move here. You can transfer the wagon from the water from the wagon up to the crew member. That's how the transfer works. But alright, once you've used all your actions, it just goes to the next player's turn. Now, the main objective, like I said, is to remove all of the different fires, and based on the number indicated in the bottom right-hand side, is whether you're going to be able to play the loyalty token down. And that's basically how you play the game. Let's talk about the winning conditions and a couple little caveats. Alright, so a couple things I didn't mention. The first thing is this fire track here on the tiles. Now there's 4 of them at the top here, and there's a 5th spot on the track. Now if the fires ever get to that 5th track on any of the tiles, they instantly get destroyed. As well as the university, but the university, as you know, has more fire spaces allowed, so if it gets to that 8th, it gets destroyed. Which brings me to the end conditions of the game. We'll talk about the burning conditions or the destruction conditions. First of all, if any 8 tiles get destroyed, or if 3 of the 4 university spaces get destroyed, then the game will end with a final round, and then you'll follow up by scoring with loyalty. Another way the game will end, or another style of winning, is district winning, or city winning, like the feeling of the people coming together and they're proud of you. So it would be 1 of every single tile, if you were able to get loyalty of 1 of every single type of tile, including the university, or 5 of 1 color type, so maybe you have 5 purple, right? Or simply 3 of the 4 university spaces. So if you have any of those conditions, the game instantly wins and you have dominated and you instantly win the game. The last victory condition, which is if the entire city is free of fire, then you would do the same thing as the destruction, tally of the victory points, that kind of thing. But those are the basic ways the game ends. Also, I wanted to talk about the fact that there's tons of great different character cards in this game. You've got Deluge, which lets you refill all your stuff for free, provided you get rid of his water bucket. Move the water on one player's wagon to your wagon. This guy is Arira Shadow. So these are all fantasy characters, and they all do a bunch of different things in the game, and their all objective is to secure the water. So that's the basic understanding of the game as far as going around the board, taking your basic actions, drawing a new event card. It could be tons of different things that happen, but mainly it's going to be putting fire on this board until either one player is able to dominate the victory condition and win, or the game ends by a bunch of stuff getting blown up and everybody getting an extra turn to see whose loyalty is the winner. Okay, so the Brigade. Well, there is a ton of stuff I love about this game. I love the artwork, and I love the style, as well as the theme. It all really works together. You feel like you're a fantasy crew of firefighters going in and destroying the fires. And all of the mechanics work with the theme. It's not like pasted on. This theme is put on with these mechanics to be cohesive, a cohesive unit. Removing all the fire on one of these tracks here will get rid of the fire completely, and you're okay. But too much fire will burn the building down. Beautifully done. You can't, as a fireman, you can't actually go past spaces that are burning, because once you get there, you're supposed to put the fire out, because that's your civic duty, and you have to follow your civic duty. Or wagons, their objective is to try and get to you as fast as they can to give you more water, and they do that by going across the board, and they're a lot faster than your units, so they're going to give you that water as quick as possible, and they hold more water than your units generally. The more people you have on your team, the more water you can have, and the more different skills every single one of those characters have. Also, the fire is burning throughout, raging throughout, without control, and the wind is moving north, east, south, west. It's all random, and shit's just catching on fire real quick. It's pretty insane, and this game always feels like you're never going to catch up to it. Now, with a 2-player game, it's less likely you're going to be able to put out the fires, and I think a 4-player game, but don't count on ever putting those fires out. At best, you're trying to complete your victory conditions. At the most likely is shit's just going to burn down, and you're kind of just in the middle of the fray, right? So really, really nice theming. The artwork's there. Now, some of this artwork is copyrighted. It's not actually his artwork, so it will be changed, just a statement here. But the rest of the fantasy stuff is all his. And like all the different stuff, water elementals, different barbarians and rogues. Just a really cool theme. A goblin, the Lisal Pedal. Add 1 intensity on a block with a loyalty marker on it. Just cool stuff like that you wouldn't, just added abilities I wouldn't expect to see in a game like this. Also, it's a fire game, which involves putting out fires. I don't see this theme very often. What is it, like Breakpoint Fire Rescue or something? There's a couple of them, and most of them aren't very good. This one I really enjoy. Now, what I will say about the game is it takes a bit to learn, and you have to have the patience. You know, it's not a quick game, and also the strategies are many and far. You have to learn to control your own stuff as well as manage to make your opponent not control theirs, because you can steal your opponent's stuff. You can basically have it catch on fire again, and then re-put it out, and then the town goes, oh yeah, you did it, so you can actually have your loyalty on there instead. However, you also have to make sure you put out more fire so the town's more impressed with you to be able to get that space. The theme also works with the wizards, and they're blowing fire everywhere, and it feels like the university is kind of run amok. Oh, I have nothing but good things to say about this game, and I really, really, really enjoy it. So, I mean, I tried to find a fair balance in between, like, some of the things are more difficult, but realistically, if you're into the gaming community and you like a worker placement, resource management, kind of game, this is going to be a really good game for you and those firefighting fans. Alright guys, thanks for watching another Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter board game review. If you like this game, go ahead and check it out on Kickstarter. The link is down below. As well as checking out the rest of our videos here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment, please. Everything helps. We do everything we can to make you push that button and come back to see our next Kickstarter game. Alright, also check out our website, unfilteredgamer.com. Blog posts, giveaways, long Kickstarter list, you get it. And our affiliated websites, everythingboardgames.com, Divotos Gaming, and thegiveawaygeek.com. They have tons of stuff, board games, giveaways, all that good stuff, even more than my own site, so check them out. Alright guys, thank you for watching this wonderful little firefighter game called The Brigade, and we look forward to seeing you next time.